If someone told you to spend 3 entire years of your life playing a character, making zero profit, just for a chance to walk away with $100 million, what would your reaction be? Most people would call it a desperate gamble. Leonardo Notarbartolo called it a business plan. In February 2003, this Italian mastermind proved that absolute patience is the deadliest weapon in the underworld. He executed the Antwerp Diamond Heist, breaching the most secure fortress on Earth without firing a single shot, and disabling a multi-million-dollar security system using ordinary household items. But the true genius wasn't the break-in itself. It was the terrifyingly patient 3-year psychological act that came before it. To the world, Leonardo Notarbartolo was nothing more than a charming, soft-spoken Italian jewelry dealer. He wore tailored suits, spoke with an elegant accent, and operated with absolute professionalism. But in the dark underbelly of the criminal world, he was the brilliant mastermind behind the School of Turin, an elite, highly selective syndicate of high IQ thieves who analyzed high-tech security systems with the precision of rocket scientists. In the year 2000, Leonardo executed the first phase of his master plan. He rented a tiny, unassuming office right inside the Antwerp Diamond Center itself. For 3 consecutive years, he didn't steal a single thing. He played a flawless psychological character. He bought espresso for the security guards, joked with the building staff, and built an impenetrable layer of social proof. He became a ghost that belonged in the machine. Eventually, the security team trusted him so blindly that they granted him a magnetic clearance card, giving him unprecedented 24/7 access to the entire facility. But the guards missed the fatal detail. Every single day, Leonardo walked past their security desks wearing an expensive Italian silk tie. Concealed inside the knot of that tie was a military-grade micro camera. As he casually strolled through the corridors, he was systematically mapping the camera angles, the guard patrol schedules, and every single digital blind spot leading directly to the ultimate prize, the impossible vault. Leonardo knew that breaking into the Antwerp Diamond Vault wasn't just a challenge. It was statistically impossible. The vault was a subterranean fortress protected by a multi-layered, state-of-the-art security grid. It relied on light sensors, seismic motion detectors, a Doppler radar field, and a massive steel door with over 100 million possible combinations. To defeat a system built by the world's top security minds, Leonardo did something completely insane. He built a full-scale, exact replica of the vault inside an abandoned Italian warehouse. For months, his elite crew trained inside this replica in pitch-black darkness, memorizing every sensor's location and blind spot down to the exact centimeter. When the night of February 15, 2003 finally arrived, they were ready to execute the ultimate low-tech hack against high-tech warfare. First, they had to bypass the infrared heat sensors. The vault was designed to instantly lock down if it detected even the slightest change in room temperature caused by a human body. The team wore heavily insulated clothing to contain most of their heat, but their faces were still exposed. To blind the system, Leonardo brought an ordinary can of women's hairspray. Moving with absolute precision, he sprayed a thin, microscopic layer of the lacquer directly over the sensor lenses. The hairspray dried into an invisible, insulating film that completely blocked the sensors from picking up any thermal radiation. The system was completely blind, yet it reported 0 errors to the central monitoring station. Next was the most terrifying obstacle: the magnetic door sensor. The vault door utilized a powerful magnetic field that triggered a silent alarm the exact millisecond the connection between the door and the frame was broken. Leonardo's team countered this with pure genius. They brought a custom-engineered aluminum bracket embedded with heavy, high-grade magnets. In the dark, they carefully bolted this bracket onto the doorframe, aligning it perfectly with the sensor. This completely hijacked the magnetic circuit. The system was tricked into thinking the massive vault door was perfectly sealed and locked, while the team was literally swinging it wide open. It was exactly 1 a.m. on a freezing Belgian night when the crew finally stepped inside the belly of the beast. The room was deathly quiet, lit only by the faint glow of security LEDs. This was the moment where the slightest mistake meant lifetime imprisonment. To override the manual deadbolts of the massive vault door, their lock expert, a man known only as the King of Keys, produced a duplicated, foot-long key that he had meticulously crafted from Leonardo's stealth video footage. He slotted it into the keyhole, turned it with agonizing slowness, and the heavy internal gears clicked open. But they weren't safe yet. The air inside the room was heavily monitored by a Doppler radar field, designed to detect any rapid movement by measuring frequency shifts. To beat the radar, the team had to move like ghosts. They bypassed the field by advancing at a brutal, physically exhausting pace, less than 2 inches per second. Every step took minutes. Every breath was calculated. If a single tool dropped, or if anyone panicked and sprinted, the silent alarms would immediately alert the Belgian authorities. Moving like synchronized shadows in the dark, they finally reached the inner sanctuary. Once inside the safe deposit room, the silence shattered into a frenzy of calculated chaos. Using specialized, silent tools, they went to work like machines, systematically breaking open 109 heavily fortified safe deposit boxes. They pulled out velvet trays and dumped massive leather bags filled with raw diamonds, sparkling rubies, pure emeralds, and bricks of solid gold directly onto the floor. For 4 hours, they were literally standing on a sea of generational wealth, walking over millions of dollars with every step. By 5 a.m., the vault was completely stripped bare. It was a scene of absolute financial devastation. But instead of running out in a panic, Leonardo maintained total control. He ordered the team to close the massive steel door and lock it completely from the outside. It was a brilliant psychological delay tactic. When the guards arrived in the morning, the door would look completely untouched, buying the crew hours of extra time to escape. They walked right past the main security gate into the cold morning air, entirely unnoticed. The central system was completely dark, reporting that everything was perfectly fine. This was it. The perfect crime had officially been recorded in the annals of history. The team had vanished into the morning fog, and over $100 million in untraceable diamonds were already entering the highly secretive, dark pipelines of the international black market. Leonardo Notarbartolo had beaten the system. He had beaten science. But as they drove down a high-speed highway back toward the safety of Italy, the one thing he couldn't control failed them completely. Human psychology. One of the crew members, a trusted childhood friend nicknamed Speedy, began to spiral into a massive, uncontrollable panic attack. The weight of what they had just done hit him all at once. He became utterly convinced that the Belgian police were already trailing their car, closing in on them with every mile. Terrified of being caught with incriminating evidence, Speedy desperately needed to get rid of the team's trash. A simple plastic garbage bag containing their everyday items, half-eaten food, and tools used during the heist. Leonardo ordered him to wait until they reached a safe area to completely burn the bag. But panic changes a man's brain. Unable to take the pressure, Speedy pulled over on a remote, heavily wooded highway in Belgium. In a state of pure hysteria, he grabbed the plastic bag and hurled it deep into the forest brush. He was supposed to set it on fire. In his blind terror, he just left it there, completely intact. It was a fatal amateur mistake. Just a few hours later, a local Belgian hunter stumbled upon the strange, freshly dumped garbage bag in the quiet woods. Suspecting illegal dumping, he opened it, saw a mess of torn papers and security wrappers, and immediately called the police. When detectives arrived and tore open the bag, they realized they hadn't just found trash. They had found a forensic gold mine. Deep inside the bag, sitting right next to an official grocery store receipt from Antwerp, was a half-eaten salami sandwich. Forensic teams carefully swiped the crust of the bread, extracting a pristine sample of human DNA. When they ran it through the European criminal database, a match instantly popped up. It belonged to Leonardo Notarbartolo. A meticulous, brilliant 3-year masterpiece of absolute genius was completely pulverized in a matter of seconds by a messy breakfast. Following the DNA match from the salami sandwich, the trap snapped shut. Leonardo Notarbartolo was arrested, brought to trial, and sentenced to 10 years in a maximum security prison. But this is where the story shifts from a brilliant heist movie into one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the modern era. Despite turning over every stone in Europe, international investigators faced a devastating reality. The $100 million in diamonds, emeralds, and solid gold were completely gone. To this day, not a single stone from the Antwerp Diamond Vault has ever been found. Years later, when Leonardo walked out of prison a free man, he dropped a chilling plot twist during an exclusive interview. He claimed that the heist was actually an inside job. According to Leonardo, a diamond merchant had hired his team to execute the break-in for a massive insurance fraud scheme. He alleged that the safe deposit boxes had already been stripped of their real valuables days before his team even touched the vault door, and that they were set up from the very beginning. Whether he was lying to protect his hidden wealth or telling the absolute truth remains a mystery locked inside his mind. He walked away from the crime of the century into absolute freedom, leaving behind a legendary legacy as the mastermind who successfully defeated the most impossible vault on Earth, only to be utterly betrayed by a piece of cured meat. Hit that subscribe button right now to lock this file into your database and leave a comment below. Would you risk spending 10 years of your life in a prison cell if it meant having $100 million perfectly hidden, waiting for you on the outside?